There's a strange paradox in life. The less you care, the more things begin to align in your favor. Not because you've given up, not because you've stopped trying, but because you've released the grip of desperation that was holding you back. The truth is, caring too much creates tension. It makes you cling, it makes you force, it makes you overthink every move. And in that energy, everything you want seems to slip through your fingers. But the moment you loosen your hold, when you stop caring about how every little thing turns out, you create space for life to flow. And suddenly, the very things you once chased start moving toward you on their own. The Stoic philosophers understood this well. They saw how most people lived in a constant state of worry, desire, and fear of loss. The tighter they tried to control their lives, the more chaotic those lives became. The solution, the Stoics said, wasn't to stop caring about life altogether, but to stop caring in the wrong way. Think about it. Have you ever tried so hard to impress someone, analyzing every word, every text, every gesture, only to end up looking stiff and unnatural? And yet, the people who don't overthink it, who are relaxed and present, seem to attract others effortlessly. Why? Because they're not clinging. They're not desperate for approval. Their energy is free, and freedom is magnetic. The same is true in every area of life: relationships, careers, even creativity. The harder you grasp, the more it slips away. But the moment you let go, everything begins to fall into place. This isn't carelessness. It isn't laziness. It's what psychologists call the law of reversed effort. The harder you push for something, the more resistance you create. It's like trying to fall asleep. The more you force it, the more awake you become. Or trying to be confident. The harder you try, the more insecure you feel. The more you chase happiness, the more aware you are of your unhappiness. And here's the irony. When you stop caring so much, when you loosen the grip, you unlock a strange kind of power. Because when you stop caring about what others think, you begin to speak freely. Your words carry weight. Your presence feels authentic. You're no longer censoring yourself, so you show up as you truly are. And people sense it. They respond to it. When you stop caring about controlling every outcome, you begin to notice opportunities you would have missed before. You act with clarity, not fear. And because of that, you make better decisions. When you stop caring about whether life unfolds perfectly, you begin to experience the perfection of life as it is. The French philosopher Michel de Montaigne wrote about this centuries ago. He observed that people suffer more in their minds than in reality. They grip to expectations. They obsess over what others think. They replay conversations. They live in constant fear of what might go wrong. But the people who release those obsessions, who stop caring about appearances, about certainty, about rigid outcomes, they are the ones who live with peace. So let me ask you, where in your life are you caring too much? Is it in relationships, where you overanalyze every detail, terrified of being rejected? Is it in your career, where you cling to an image of success, constantly measuring yourself against others? Is it in your identity, where you feel the need to prove yourself, to maintain control over how you're seen? Notice something. The areas where you care too much are often the very areas where you feel stuck. That's not a coincidence. That's the law of reversed effort at work. Here's the shift. Caring less doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop attaching. You stop demanding that things go exactly the way you imagined. You give your best, but you don't strangle the outcome. You move with life, instead of trying to bend it to your will. When you stop caring, you break free from the mental prison of not enough. Suddenly, you're no longer chasing validation. You're no longer stuck in constant comparison. You're no longer burdened by what ifs. You're simply here, present, flowing. And here's the paradox. When you stop caring, you actually gain more influence. Not control in the desperate, grasping sense, but influence that comes from being aligned. People trust those who are calm under pressure, who aren't frantic for approval, who carry themselves with ease. Success flows to those who move with confidence, not those who chase it in fear. Think about a river. If you plunge your hands in and try to grab the water, it slips away. But if you simply hold your hand open, the water gathers naturally in your palm. That's how life works. The less you grasp, the more it flows to you. This applies in love. Have you ever seen someone desperate for affection? The constant need for reassurance, the endless overthinking, it drives people away. But when someone is secure in themselves, when they stop caring about constant validation, they radiate confidence, they attract love naturally. It applies in success. The entrepreneur who micromanages every detail, obsessed with control, often burns out. But the one who trusts the process, who experiments, who adapts, they thrive. It applies in creativity. The artist who worries about every stroke, every word, gets stuck in perfectionism. But the one who lets go, who stops caring about judgment, creates with freedom. And it applies in your inner life. The more you care about controlling thoughts, the louder they get. The more you care about controlling emotions, the stronger they become. But when you let them pass, without resistance, they dissolve. So, what does it mean to stop caring? It means you stop feeding your energy into things you cannot control. It means you shift your attention from desperate outcomes to present actions. It means you release the illusion of control and embrace the freedom of trust. Because here's the truth, most of your stress doesn't come from life itself. It comes from your resistance to life, from the constant internal tug-of-war between what you want and what is. When you stop caring, you stop fighting that battle. You stop demanding that reality bend to your expectations, and in that surrender, you discover peace. Look at history's most resilient people. They weren't obsessed with controlling every detail. They flowed. They adapted. They trusted themselves to handle whatever came their way. And because of that, they achieved greatness. So here's the invitation. Stop caring. Stop caring about what others think. Stop caring about controlling every outcome. Stop caring about whether life matches your script. Care about showing up fully. Care about taking action. Care about being present. But let go of the rest. Because when you stop caring, everything falls into place. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you do. You shift from resistance to allowance, from desperation to presence, from fear to trust. And that shift is everything. So ask yourself, what could you let go of today? What outcome, what opinion, what illusion of control could you release so that life can finally flow the way it was always meant to? Remember, the less you care, the more things align. The moment you stop clinging, you discover that life was never against you, it was only waiting for you to let go. When you stop caring, everything falls into place. Because in the end, peace doesn't come from forcing life into place. It comes from trusting that it was already falling into place all along.